I could not be more fucking excited to talk about Baywatch right now. Honestly, and I think that the audience, our beloved audience, longtime listeners, need to know that I texted you 10 minutes before we were supposed to meet and was like, I'm ready. I'm just sitting at my desk rewatching the episode. And you said?
Same. I said, let's do this.
Me too.
Do you know the band Real Big Fish?
Yeah.
When was the last time you heard them?
It's going to be 20 years.
Right. Okay. So I was in the car on my way home from having lunch with my mom to come do this. I'm listening to the 90s on 9 station on Sirius XM. And guess what? That fucking song came on. I turned it up to like 40 in my car, which is so loud.
Wait, what song?
The one song that they were famous for.
Their song.
Sell
Okay.
Out. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just singing so loud, and there was so much traffic, and there was just like all these probably young people around me that are like, who's this old bitch listening to this ska band? And I was like, it's me.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. I have distinct teen I remember being a tween sitting on the end of the dock.
Yeah.
Classic. Oh my gosh, that just reminded me of the best tie-in story from my childhood that I have for this very episode.
I can't wait. I'm Nicole Mackey.
I'm ZJ Hadley. You're listening to a recap podcast drowning in nostalgia.
Welcome to Baywatchers.
So I'm so fucking excited. So let me tell you my Sea-Doo story, which I think ties into this episode really directly.
Okay.
So first of all, I just learned what a jet ski is. It's what they're riding. And then I didn't realize that I'd never actually experienced a jet ski, but we sometimes colloquially call a Sea-Doo or like a...
Are they not the same thing?
I've never been on one of those that I had to stand on. I've been on ones that you sit on like... You're riding a horse and you drive around. And so I think that this was the first iteration of that. And then they made them better. And then I was old enough to ride one. We already had better ones. So I've never actually been on one of these stand-up ones that look kind of like you have to be a little bit more skilled to ride them.
Because they look janky as fuck because that thing like folds in on itself. I was so – I'm sorry. I just have to say my butthole was so tight this entire episode. Clench.
Yeah. And you have to start, apparently, just based on my extensive research watching this episode 1.5 times, you have to start from like laying down, and then as it gets going, it pulls you up because they sink when they're not going. So anyway, so when I was a kid, I was at my friend's cottage. So we're laying on the end of the dock. We weren't old enough to go to a concert, but Real Big Fish was playing across the lake, and the sound was drifting over to us, and we were just laying on that dock, like being tween girls and thinking we were hot as fuck. And we were so boy crazy that summer. And so I'm pretty sure this was the same summer. A thing that we did was we had a Sea-Doo. So not the thing where you have to stand, but the thing where you're sitting down on it. And we were out on the lake, me and my friend, and there were a bunch of cute boys across the lake. And we were like, how do we get their attention? Let's tip the Sea-Doo.
Oh.
And we had to put so much force. We had to like coordinate rocking and like work up enough momentum to turn this like 1,000-pound piece of machinery. It was such a fucking stupid idea. Very, very dumb teen girl antics. We got in so much trouble. But do you know what happened? The boys came and rescued us, and then we dated them for the rest of the summer.
I just want to say for any of our young listeners, do not put yourself in danger to get attention from someone you like, but also good for you. I'm glad it worked out.
Don't put that much effort into attracting a man, let alone a teen boy.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Before we get into it, I have a bit of housekeeping I wanted to go through with you. I tried to talk to you about this on text. You were, I'm not going to say dismissive, but you were not as engaged in the episode numbering issue.
Oh, yeah.
So, the pilot episode we watched was an hour and 35 minutes long, and it's like categorized as a TV movie, but it was
where you're watching it.
No, in the world.
No, because where I'm watching it, it was episode 1.
So it is categorized as a TV movie because it wasn't like part of their syndication. So it came out in April, and the rest of the series came out 5 months later. And
okay.
So some places have included it as episode 1, but some places like Wikipedia and IMDb have it as episode 0.
It's its own thing, which explains why it's so long and why so much happens.
Yes, why so much happens. I just want to make sure, I think it's worth acknowledging that as we go through this adventure together, people need to make sure they're watching the right episode. with the recap.
Yeah.
Especially us, because I almost didn't.
Yeah, you were like, make sure you watch the one with the jet skis.
Yeah, and you were like, yeah.
I was like,
I know. We're only on number 2, ZJ. It's not that confusing.
I was like, it's labeled number 2.
And I also went down a rabbit hole last night and like looked up a lot of information.
Oh, about.
And so, okay, so here's what it started with. I thought that, I almost called him Bodhi, Hobie was electric in this episode.
Good child actor.
Far cry from the Hobie of the first episode who was like, oh, what if a girl wants to touch me?
Well, he had Hobie, 5 months.
He had 5 months. He matured. Hobie grew up and was like, he's like skipping school and doing cool shit. And I was like, is this a different kid?
Okay, but also he Benjamin buttoned. Did you notice that? He's 12 now. He's not 13.
I did notice that. I thought I was just going crazy.
No.
So anyway, so I started going down this rabbit hole to be like, is this the same kid as the last episode I saw? Because this kid's got it. This kid's got star talent.
Got it.
I learned a bunch of stuff that I'm now going to share with you. So the idea of Baywatch came about when the creator of the show was on duty working as a lifeguard, and he saved 2 children of an MTM studio employee.
Oh, fate.
Isn't that? Do you think that he saved the
Kismet.
kids and then the guy was like, oh my gosh, thank you for saving my children. I'm a studio employee. And the guy was like, I have a great idea for a show. Like that's just serendipity.
Oh, those kids weren't in danger. Those kids weren't in danger.
It's fake. Your theory is that he tried to drown those kids.
Maybe not him personally, but I think maybe there was oh no, they're in distress. And it's like, hey, I'm the head of MGM. It's like, oh, what? I never would have known that.
Uh-huh. Well, it paid off because he
made
this show. And originally he wanted to call it Aquatic Corpse for Emergency Service.
Oh, not corpse, which is like a corpse.
Core?
C-O-R-P-S.
Core.
Yeah, core, I think.
I'm not in the military. Regardless, the acronym for that is ACEs. And he thought that was going to be really clever.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
You don't?
No.
I'm being ironic. I do hate it.
Oh, okay.
And then later he changed it to Baywatch, the name of the rescue boats, the Patrol Santa Monica Bay.
Boring. I like ACEs. ACEs to me sounds sexy.
Well, I did think it's not too late to change the name of the podcast.
I feel like it won't make sense to people. Maybe our listeners we can call them ACEs. Ooh,
that's a good idea.
Okay, we're always branding.
On the subject of women, I found this gem. The audience of Baywatch was 65% female, with its number 1 audience being women aged 18 to 34.
Oh.
I was really surprised by that.
When is this? Over its entire run or when it premiered?
Well, I'll continue.
Okay.
An executive explained that after doing focus groups on Baywatch for about 5 years, they learned that the show appealed to this demographic because most of its lead characters were strong, independent women who were heroic, who were saving lives, and who were equal to men.
Well, we haven't found that yet.
Well, okay, but here's what I love about this statement. After doing focus groups on Baywatch for 5 years, these men came to understand that the women liked that there were other strong, independent women on the show. And how much do you want to bet on the first day of the focus groups? They were like, what do you like about the show? And they were like, I like how strong and independent the women were. And they were like, we feel like it's off, though. So we're going to keep studying.
Yeah, it's not the shirtless men. I don't know. I feel like that is not the vibe this show is giving me 2 episodes in. It's not strong, independent women.
Well, I wonder if these women were strong and independent for the time. Like they had jobs.
They're barely featured. There's barely women on this episode.
That's a strong point, actually.
I mean, and there's no main female characters yet.
There are gonna be, though.
There's gonna be, yeah. I mean, we're not even into the seasons where it was like the era of Baywatch. Obviously, we have Pamela Anderson coming soon. Obviously, we have Yasmin Bleeth. No, not that soon. But we have them on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, they're more prominent. So we'll see. But right now, there's not a lot of.
That's a good point. I did forget there were no women in this particular episode.
Yeah. I mean, they're there, but barely.
And then I went deep on one particular character. I'm going to read you a timeline, and I want you to guess
which one,
what character this
is about. Okay.
Okay, so in 1988, this person was originally selected to play the part of Kevin Arnold on The Wonder Years, but was replaced at the last minute by Fred Savage.
It's Hobie. It's the only child on this show.
In 1990, this person was asked to leave the cast.
During his awkward phases?
In 1996, this person was shot in both arms following a traffic dispute.
Oh.
And in 2005, this person was living in San Diego, California, working at their parents' gas station.
Whoa. Okay, I was going to say, I feel like the actor, I feel like I am aware that he had a rough time. Like,
Hobie.
The actor who plays Hobie. I feel like after this show, he comes back at some point in later seasons, doesn't he?
They replace him after this first year.
Oh, no way.
And it was because of exactly what you said, that it was due to having grown so much. And at this point, David Hasselhoff has taken over producing the show. And he wanted to let Hobie stay a young boy for a few more seasons. And so they replaced him with another kid.
He got hoffed.
Who was 3 years younger and dark-haired instead of blonde, and supposedly had a much better singing voice. So it says supposedly because I guess they don't verify that because it's not relevant because he doesn't sing.
But it is relevant to David Hasselhoff because what do you think? He's probably like coordinating little riffs and stuff at craft services.
Yeah. So let me say one more thing I found in an alternate source.
Okay.
So some sources like Wikipedia said that the kid retired from acting. He just didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh.
But I also gathered this bit of information when it came to a son for Hasselhoff's single father character during the reboot. So they mean the second season.
Okay.
Burke said, we had Leonardo DiCaprio ready to be cast. Leonardo DiCaprio in his mid-teens then was a standout among hundreds who read for the role. So is it the age issue or is it not? Hasselhoff, nearing 40, put his foot down. David wanted a younger son so it wouldn't age him. So the role went to 10-year-old Jeremy Jackson in season 2.
Jeremy Jackson, that's the guy. I think that's the guy that would later have some hard times. I think he was like, he partied really hard, like when he got into his teens and 20s. I think he was getting in trouble a lot. So that's the confusion.
You don't think getting shot in the both arms at a traffic dispute is hard times?
I think that's not great.
Arms?
How does that, I mean, logistically, that seems hard to do. Like,
that's what I couldn't wrap my head around the logistics.
Like you get shot and then you go, ow! And then you just like...
I guess you could be doing this.
Oh, yeah. In which case, someone might need to look into the San Diego Police Department if that's what happened.
It doesn't say he was shot by police.
Oh, why did I just assume?
I don't know.
Rude.
The news?
I think we know
culture?
why. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are really fun facts.
Thanks. I was so excited about these facts.
Of course. I feel like, of course, Hoff. What do I want to say? Like, of course he was having some like diva moments.
Who isn't?
Yeah, who isn't?
I'm coming up on 40. I don't want a 20-year-old in the same room as me if I can avoid it. I get it.
Yeah.
How different would this have been with Leonardo DiCaprio in it, though?
I mean, that would have tanked his career. I feel like he would have been stuck on the show. He would have missed opportunities.
Yeah. Do you think there's a joke in here about he got turned down because of his age? Right, because he only dates people under 25 because he's a creep.
Yeah, there probably is. Yeah, I was gonna say, is there something about
he never got over it? He never got over being rejected because of his age. So then he made it his life's mission to dump 26-year-olds.
Yeah, I think there's also a joke in here about the pussy posse.
I still don't know what that is.
Oh,
I continue not to know.
Oh, it's like what him and his friends, like him and Tobey Maguire and Lucas Haas and all these dudes who were like hanging out together in the 90s called themselves.
Is it that they get so much pussy?
Yeah.
In the 90s, were people saying that? Because I remember having a crush on Leonardo DiCaprio in the when he's on a movie where they're stuck on an island or something.
I know.
I didn't crush on him in that era.
Yeah,
but I don't remember the words "pussy posse" ever crossing my mind.
The news wasn't reporting on it, but like I feel like I knew
what was.
I don't know.
MSN
I know
Messenger?
It. Yeah, I guess. Weird blogs, like celebrity blogs. I don't know, but it's known. Yeah, or maybe we learned this later. oh, did you know this is how they used to conduct themselves or whatever? So maybe we weren't learning this in real time.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about this episode?
I do. Yeah. I have a lot of general thoughts as well as specific ones, but I do think the biggest thing was just that I noticed Hobie was Benjamin buttoning, and it was
because
like
this is Hoff's aging insecurity creeping in.
Yeah, because also 5 months went by, so he's like, hang on, we need to even roll him back a year. And also, I just really normally I don't like child actors. I don't think they're very good in general.
Really?
Yeah, they just don't have a lot of life experience to pull real emotions from, and so it always feels weird to me. But him crying at the end is like, it was so good. I thought this kid's emotional range the whole time, like being scared, and crying because he messed up, was like very real. So he was a good actor, and it's sad that they asked him to leave. I will put that on record. I feel
or that he
that's
just
rude.
happened to retire so that he could go work at his parents' gas station.
Yeah, with his 2 bullet arms.
They got better.
We don't know that.
So I wanted to make one small concession, which was that I really watched the running in the beginning a bit more, and I did write down Hasselhoff running hot.
Oh!
He's winning me over.
Already.
I still prefer
Craig.
To the point where I also went down a Craig rabbit hole. I sent you an Instagram post of his.
Oh.
Okay. But the man has aged like a fine wine. He's still got it at 71.
Whoa, 71. Okay.
I'm not saying I'm pursuing it. I'm just saying he's got the glimmer in his eyes.
Oh, his name's Parker Stevenson?
Yeah. And he was married to Kirstie Alley. But I went far enough back.
She was crazy.
Yeah, I went far back enough in his timeline to see that he posted on Instagram the poem. Was a little girl or young woman did at the inauguration. I'm not from your country. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway.
Amanda. Yeah.
He posted that. So he seems cool.
Oh, he's on the right side politically.
Yeah.
Not the right. He's not on the right. He's on the progressive side.
Pro-Trump Scientologist like Kirstie Alley.
Also, okay, because the thing that's bothering me about him, and this is like, honestly, it's my favorite character in this episode. It's his hairline.
Uh-huh.
It's like two separate parts, and the front part, when it's not wind blown back, is like very far down his face, and it feels like someone put it there, but it's not part of the rest of his hair, and I'm very fixated on it. It's I'm glad to see it's taking care of itself on his Instagram.
Unfortunately.
I think fortunately.
No, unfortunately. If you go back far enough, you will see a video of him where when he turns to the side, you can see he does still have a small back pony, a little pony. So
that is...
I didn't know you were going to bring up hair specifically, but actually I would honestly say
that is upsetting. Honestly, fuck his Amanda Gorman post, because that's the ponytail is the most offensive thing I think you could have said.
To each their own.
Do you like it?
No.
You're saying for others out there.
No, I'm just saying he put in his time. No. I'm not defending a ponytail. I'm defending my boy Parker Stevenson.
You're right. That was rude.
Who has the glimmer in his eye of a 32-year-old.
He is vivacious. Yeah, no, he looks great. Funny that you said you're kind of coming around on the Hoff, because I'm coming around on Craig a little bit.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think his hair does upset me a lot of the time. Everyone's hair in this episode upset me. It's very feathered. All the men's hair is like very, very done. And I'm like, it would not look like this at the beach. There's no way. It would be like more back. I don't know.
Well, let's say this is 5 months later, and this is like when the proper production has started. So we might be talking different staff. We might be talking
different hair and
environment.
Yeah. Okay.
So they might still be settling in.
Okay. I didn't watch the intro, but I was going to ask you if you watched it again, and when do you think you'll stop watching it? I intended to watch it, and then I wrote that note and totally missed it.
I watched it several times.
Okay.
I went back.
I listened.
I listened, and also when I went to see my personal trainer today, and he always asks me what music to play, and I always say, I don't care, whatever. I don't have the cognitive load to DJ this right now. Just train me, just make me do lunges.
Right.
And so today he didn't ask, and he just put on the Baywatch soundtrack.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, amazing. Because he knows.
Yeah, he does know.
Oh my God,
know.
that's amazing.
Yeah. It was good. I thought that this kicks off with what 2.5 Men just plucked the opening scene of this episode and made it their entire show run. Like they're 2 dudes, Hobie's on fire. He's like, what? We don't need to clean. There's no girls here.
Yeah.
And the dad's
We're
like,
single
yeah,
dudes.
but we want to get girls here sometime. And then Hobie takes off and goes to school, pretends to go to school.
Yeah.
He doesn't go to school. He actually hasn't been to school for 4 days. And once again, when his dad very calmly is like, where have you been going instead of school for 4 days? And I was like, what? Is no one worried? 4 days before the school called?
It's very weird because he's very much like Disney dad sometimes, and other times he's the mom in this episode. Like all the things that Hobie is upset at him for is usually what children are upset at their mothers about, which I did think was interesting.
But they talk about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I thought was really good. He specifically says the kid's like, you never used to care about this stuff. And Hoff is like, yeah, man, I like fucked up. That's why your mother dumped me because I wasn't a good dad. And I was like, what? Again, this is so much more progressive than I would have thought.
Yeah, it is. Can I say I have a boner for their house. It's so 90s in a way, but it's like I would live in it now. Like it's like a timeless 90s. And it also reminds me, do you know the movie Overboard with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's relevant because it has to do with the boats and water. But anyway, there's a house in that is like remnant of this one. And I love Kurt Russell so much. If there's one thing everyone needs to know about me, it's I love Kurt Russell so much. I call him Daddy Kurt Russell. If I ever met him in person, I would be so upset, I think. Just like emotionally unstable.
So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Let's hope it doesn't happen. And also, I guess if I met him today in real life as he is now, I wouldn't really be into it. But I like to revisit his movies. Again, when I watched these films when I was younger, just like with the Hoff, I was like, whatever. Like, that's a dad. You know, you don't really compute. And then you get to the age we are now and you look at it and you go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hobie gets to the beach and goes on the jet skis with these 2 douchebags. And I'm going to let you get a word in here edgewise, but I needed to read down in my notes to the point where Hobie says, they say like, how'd you like those jet skis? And he says, off the scale, man. It was rad. And it delighted me.
And then they called him a dweeb. I was so upset about that. My biggest thing here was that, like, what do you think? Because also, okay, not only is this kid a phenomenal actor in terms of pulling emotions out that feel real and like very resonant, he also did his own stunts. That is him riding the jet ski. It's close enough to
Yeah, but I don't know if I would call it a stunt.
Well,
is riding a bicycle a stunt?
Good question. I think it can be. But also, doesn't like riding a jet ski in the middle of the ocean with other jet skis, like he's operating a motor vehicle and he's a child. And I was like, what are the legal, like we should ask lawyer Craig.
No. I just told you my story of tipping a Sea-Doo when I was 12.
Not
You're
on
allowed to do that.
Not on a Hollywood set.
Oh.
This is what I'm interested in.
Is this like before or after the incident where those people got beheaded by a helicopter?
After. That was in like the...
Oh, then I'm surprised because I thought that's when people started caring about safety on sets.
Well, we still didn't care enough. A woman got shot with a gun and died not like 2 years ago.
We did care, though. That was...
Oh, true.
So one person didn't care. The laws were in place.
True.
The person just didn't do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I was very surprised that he was actually riding that jet ski. Like up
I was
on the
too.
beach.
I did note that he was wearing a life jacket and the other guys weren't. And I was like, I bet that was the concession that they made on the set.
Oh, also the one guy's drinking a beer.
Which is Budweiser.
Which immediately says like, this guy's a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
That's like what that is. It's the bad guy prop.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, I wanted to come up with an elegant summary like you had for the storylines last time.
Yeah.
And what I came up with was 2 douchebags drown a lady.
Just
That's
kill
it.
a lady.
There's
murder.
Absolutely murder. And also it just shook, I guess this flies in the face of me trying to defend this show's pro women's stance, but like, or maybe it's speaking to the issue that is there nowhere that we can go. You go out to the middle of the fucking ocean with your sailboard, that's what they call it, and 2 men will just come out and fucking harass you until you drown and die and then leave you there?
Yeah.
Like, she's minding her own business. She's bothering no one. The wind in her hair. She bought that. She has her own working job, her own money. She bought that sailboard. And these 2 dudes, for literally no reason, just drown her.
That's why women choose the bear.
Yeah. Or what would the aquatic equivalent be?
Shark.
Yeah.
Women would rather take their chances with a shark.
There were sharks in that water, and a shark did not hurt her. And when her body washed up, still no sharks had sharked at her.
Yeah. I made the note of this lady's body when they pulled it out of the water would have been way grosser.
So much grosser.
Yeah. So, like, of course, the show also has hot corpses.
And she's also, she's like
ugh.
To the point where I was like, is she dead? Because why is her arm flopping?
Yeah.
And she goes, the wave gets her, and it looked like she waved. And I was like, is she fine?
I know. I couldn't tell if she was dead. I'm like, did she survive? It's like, no, she's like,
no rigor mortis, didn't absorb any water.
No.
Not gray. Her makeup is intact.
Yeah. She was like maybe a little bit of like a light blue hue, which is like, maybe in the 90s they didn't have the makeup to like stay on in the water. I don't know.
No, it was because they wanted her to be hot.
Yeah. You also could have just found her face down and just like never saw her face and she would have looked more dead. But because we saw her like beautiful hot face, it was like, yeah. Yeah.
So at this point, they recover, or maybe they already have. They recover the sailboard first, and then the body washes up later. And when they find this sailboard, did you notice it flashes to what I couldn't figure out if it was supposed to be paint or blood?
Paint.
It is paint.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like blood, but also everyone's eyes are so beautiful in this TV show that I thought maybe my color distortion was off, because I was like, oh, maybe that's supposed to be blood red and their eyes are supposed to be a human shade of blue.
I did think that at first too. I was like, is that what they think blood looks like, or like what happened here? But they're calling a lot of attention to it.
I know, but they're calling attention to it and they're saying, here's the collision spot. And so we know the CD was red, but it's not a scrape like you would see on a car. It's a splatter.
Well, that's because the prop department fucked up.
But there's no other way.
Yeah, no.
And so then I was like, it's either paint, but that doesn't make any sense. It should be one little scratch.
Yeah,
where the paint rubbed off.
Yeah. Especially
a splatter.
Okay, I love that you're a stickler for continuity, because Pete, I think, hates watching movies with me because I always see this stuff. But yeah, like the little piece, like the little dented piece that Hobie finds way later.
Yes.
It's so small. It would not have done like a 4 feet of damage on that post.
Because you think that's the only part where the impact was sustained. But also it looked like the guy was spray painting that, and I'm like, my bro, it's shattered. Just go a hole right through it. You're not putting that back on.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the midst of all this, here's another fun fact that I saved for you. They introduce a black person.
Yeah.
Did you see him?
Yeah, we got our first person of color with like an actual meaty role on this show.
He has a name. His name is Garner Ellerby.
Oh.
He is the police officer.
Officer Ellerby.
And
from
I wrote down,
the regular police.
From the regular land police.
Yeah.
And I wrote down thighs, because the man can wear a short.
Even though he does not want to be wearing shorts.
He's so mad about the shorts.
I really liked that dynamic.
I don't want to drown us in fun facts for this episode either, because I know it's not what anyone wants, but when I was stalling, waiting for it to be time to record, I did look up a job description for beach lieutenant.
Oh.
Which is a real job in Santa Cruz.
Yes.
And it's basically like lifeguard level 3. You have to have 3 years of having worked on a beach and be at least 18.
That's it?
Yeah. And
Wait. This brings Hoff's promotion way down.
Well, maybe it used to be way harder, but yeah, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But you do have to do payroll, scheduling requests, incident reports, vehicle inspections. You have to have a driver's license and stuff. And then it has this. You're in constant communication with the fire people for some reason. It doesn't say why, but one of the specifications down here. Okay, so you have to have at least your high school education, GED or equivalent. 3 seasons working there, at least 1 season as a level 2 or blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. You have to be able to swim. 1,000-meter ocean swim time in under 20 minutes.
Okay, I thought it was just you have to be able to swim full stop. I was like, yeah.
You do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, well, but it's an office job.
Yeah, you're manager of lifeguards.
Yeah, okay. But you're not supposed to get in the water. We learned in the first episode.
Right.
Okay, and then this requirement: proof of negative tuberculosis test or clear chest X-ray must be presented within 14 days of hire. No exceptions.
Yeah.
Why? For what?
Because you're getting cut. Like people are bleeding a lot of times on the beach.
What's tuberculosis?
Tuberculosis is like a bloodborne disease that people used to die from in like have you ever seen the movie Moulin Rouge?
Yeah.
That's what she's dying of.
But you're saying you can also get it from if you're cut and somebody else is cut?
Blood to blood, yeah.
But aren't there a bunch of tests? Aren't there a bunch of diseases that could be true for? They're only concerned about tuberculosis.
True. Maybe it's like more quickly spread. I don't know. That is a very specific.
It's so specific that I've never been compelled to get a tuberculosis test before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's specific to the U.S. Maybe we have like TB problems here.
Oh, is it because your people don't want to get vaccinated?
My people. Not my people.
Kirstie Allen's people.
Yeah, Kirstie Alley's people for sure. Well, yeah, the Scientologists, they don't. Scientologists, Christian Scientists. I don't know where Jehovah's Witnesses stand, but there's a lot of religions that are
think Jehovah's Witnesses, our own medicine. You're not even supposed to get a blood transfusion, so
so they're in the same boat.
Yeah, I feel like
they're on the same skidoo.
This is the part of the podcast where we just for no reason disparage all of the religions.
Oh, there's a reason.
You want to get anything else off your chest in this Baywatch podcast?
No.
I'm not super into religion either. And I love vaccines. Oh, I want so many fucking vaccines.
I love science. Bring me science every
time.
So
much science.
Oh my God. Hashtag horny for science.
Inject it straight into my veins. Okay, so Garner Ellaby is introduced. He's going to be a part of this series. He has a good, healthy, hearty, recurring, long-term role.
Good.
It's
okay.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And in this episode, he drives a 4-wheeler.
So fun.
He's a truck leader and stuff, and he seems great. He's great. They're collaborating with a land cop now, which I think is fantastic development.
I feel like his hat says like police officer on it, something very generic, which made me giggle.
Yeah. They're doing the best they can.
Yeah.
Okay. At one point, the Bachelor boys, Hobie and Hoff, are at home. Yeah. Did you clock this when Hoff is making dinner and he's like cooking up hamburger?
He throws the raw meat.
Yeah,
I was catch so upset.
with a ball, and he's not even making burgers, but it is a burger shaped ball, like the ball of meat you would make before you press it into a patty. And they're like blocking each other, whatever. And then Hobie takes the meat out of his hand and throws it across the room into the stove. Did Hobie wash his hands before he engaged in this game? What if missed? What if he missed? What about after? Great question. What if he missed and I just picturing the ground beef with lint in it, like side of the stove, the crud that builds up between the stove and the wall.
Because that's how men cook. Yeah. Blanket statement, it's true across the board.
It is true. And I once chastised a man for taking like the dishcloth that we use to clean dishes and then like cleaning dog spit off the floor or something. It was something that was on the floor and then putting it back where the dishes were. And I was like, hey, don't do that. And he told me that I was being unreasonable.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I thought it was a meatball.
It was.
Oh, okay.
It was ground beef.
Yeah, in a ball. So it was technically a meatball. Yeah.
Oh, you thought it was like a meatball.
Yeah, because I think they were making pasta, but then later it's like spaghetti. A ragu. Yeah,
he made spaghetti and meat crumble.
Yeah, and meat that was a ball and is now not a ball.
But that would have been a huge meatball.
Yeah.
Baseball sized.
Well, I didn't say he was good at cooking.
Yep. But he is cooking, which I honestly feel was still more than I expected.
Okay. But he's like
cooking. He told his son he loved him. He admitted he was wrong in his divorce.
True, because he said he was a slob. He also goes, there's one of me, there's one of you. We just need 2 meatballs. And he takes a whole pound of beef and just makes 2 meatballs. And you know what? That's trying. So good for him.
Yeah. Your kid got carbs and meat for dinner. Check. You did it.
Yeah.
The other thing that's happening is that Craig has taken in another fucking stray.
Craig and his wife have taken in another stray.
Yeah, and did you think their house looked different?
Yeah, and it's not on the beach.
Was like a dirty loft above a store.
Yeah.
And the other one was a beach mansion.
Yeah, I said Craig's house moved off the beach. And is he not a lawyer anymore? I don't think he is.
I was going to ask if we should have a running count of like days since Craig last went to his law office.
That's funny. So far it's 0. I don't think he's a lawyer anymore.
Why did they even write that in the first place?
Well, it was separate. And then 5 months went by. Maybe they hired different writers and they forgot that they made him a lawyer, which how could you forget? Because that's a pretty large part of his character. And he would remember. Someone should have notified someone. But I just feel like, yeah, a few things changed and we're just supposed to pretend we didn't know.
Well, it was 5 months later. And this is before you could just stream things whenever you want.
Yeah.
So they're like, these fucking people don't remember.
They're like, yeah.
They don't remember what we showed them in April. 13, 12. No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
They think we're idiots, but not me. I watched it twice. Okay, so Craig, in the last episode, referred to the hot blonde young woman who is not even in this episode as the rookie. And then this guy.
Yeah.
But this guy's also a rookie.
Oh, now he is. He wasn't in the first episode.
Oh, okay. So he is now, though.
Yeah.
Craig sees that he's got all his shit in his locker, which is a skateboard and a t-shirt and some flip-flops, I think. And then Craig finds him sleeping in the lifeguard tower.
Yeah.
And with the door open, which isn't how you would do that. Oh, maybe it gets stuffy in there. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's sleeping in there. So Craig immediately is like, bro, don't worry. I'll take you on a fun Venice adventure. And they go down to the boardwalk and they have a great time.
I guess. This is the part where I was really distracted by Craig's hair. I know they were talking about the other lifeguards' his housing position. They're like, he's like trying his family. He's like, do you have money? He's like, I have money. I don't think we ever know why he doesn't have anywhere to live.
Well, no, because they reveal that a studio apartment in 1989 is $1,200.
Whoa!
In 1989 Malibu. Money.
Wow. Okay.
No, I think that's in Venice because I think that's where.
Oh, in Venice. Oh, okay. I missed that. I was so confused. But so he just didn't want to spend the money, or he didn't have the money.
He doesn't have it because he's a fucking lifeguard.
Yeah. Copy that. Okay.
And okay, so since you were focusing on Craig's hair, did you see the mime?
No. I am telling you, Craig's hair was the main character of this episode for me, to be honest.
You have to go back because there is a mime who is so up in their business on the boardwalk. They're talking to each other and they're like walking away. And I think that it's when the skateboard bumps into them that they then bump into the mime. And the mime is directly in between them with his face like he's in their personal space. His face is like on their shoulder and he's mocking them with his mimery.
No.
Yes. The mime is literally, I wrote down.
Does it count?
Another stray. A mime follows them.
Are you?
He has.
Can you mock someone if you're a mime? I'm gonna say that. Or is your social status so low that you can never be? You're always punching up. Do you know what I'm saying?
if a mime did that to me, I would feel bad. It was bad.
Really?
He's got white face makeup. He's a full mime. He's like blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
and
no.
And they don't acknowledge him either.
I wouldn't.
Ooh,
That's
now
the
I'm
best thing
worried.
you could do. That it wasn't even there.
Now I'm worried.
Oh my God. Are you seeing mimes in your? What about outside? Is there?
It's the only mime I've seen recently, but I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure it was there. I'm just saying. I don't feel like I'm. Okay, I do feel like I'm better than a lot of people, but I don't feel like more confident than a lot of people. And I feel like if a mime came after me in public, I'd be like, no.
How much of our audience base are you trying to alienate today? You came for Jehovah's Witnesses. Go see you later, Jehovah's Witnesses listeners. And now you're taking a hard stance on mimes.
Listen, I haven't looked at the numbers recently.
Have you ever done any prop work? You're an actress. You ever used a prop?
I'll do you one better. I've done space work, which is basically improvising with no prop, but you act like it's there. I've mimed.
That's mime.
I don't care. I think mime's not a real job, and I will die on this hill. Mime is not a real job unless you go to like a mime academy. Maybe I'm a mime snob is the problem.
You're a mime elitist.
I'm a mime elitist. Yeah.
That's fair.
I didn't even see the mime in this one, to be honest.
I can't either. I imagine a mime, or this is like that scientific, that experiment where they have like the kids are playing basketball and it says like count how many times the basketball bounces.
Yeah.
And please get this reference. And then afterwards they're like, "What did you see the gorilla?" And nobody ever sees the gorilla.
Yeah.
The gorilla goes back behind them.
Yeah, because they're so. That's like how magic works.
Yeah, so I think you were so focused on Craig's hair, you didn't see a full man standing between them, mime mocking them.
If that doesn't tell you how upset I am by Craig's hair, I don't know how else to explain it.
I don't even know what you're really talking about with his hair because I was fully on mime watch.
Don't even look, because once you see it, it can't be unseen, and it's like it will just upset you. I think I'm just gonna be so distracted the rest of the season. We'll figure it out.
Is your issue that it's not windswept enough, or that it's just you don't like the cut?
It's so many things. It's the placement. It's how the front goes down and the sides go back. It's like, it's also that it's sometimes like too feathery and too hairsprayed for like where they're at and what time of day it is. There's just a lot.
Okay.
I can't even explain. It's like a feeling also. I just get like a bad feeling from it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go back and get a screenshot of the mime for socials, okay? So that people can...
You're going to have to crop his hair out of it.
No, I'm going to put it up. We're going to put it up on socials so that people can vote on what's more distracting, his hair or off. Full mime.
Can you see this mime? Is it going to be like the golden blue dress? It's our golden blue dress, yeah.
Yes.
Is there a mime in this photo?
Yeah.
Okay,
cool. So he takes him back to the house with the wife.
Is that the same wife or a different actress?
It's a different wife. Yeah, it's a different wife.
I also clocked that immediately, but then I wasn't sure.
I didn't. I actually just saw it in Googling and was like, who?
Okay. Her name's still Gina, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're like, what is he going to do? I guess he'll have to die on the street. Fuck him. And then the wife's like, well, maybe not. And then they have they're in like a 1-bedroom loft apartment. It's not a huge mansion. And then they open this other door and they're like, and Craig's like, but this is our storage room. It has, I'm going to say, I have 12-foot high ceilings. May I boast? And they were at least 12. There's at least 12-foot high ceilings in this room with gorgeous floor-to-ceiling windows, gorgeous panes. Like this is the most beautiful room in the entire world. And they're like, should we rent it out? I'm like, what? You don't have enough real estate to have this whole room just closed over here with like a ladder in it.
Yeah, why are your boxes in here? She had to shimmy up a pole to get to like look out the top of the window. It's a big, tall place. Yeah. And now he lives there.
And so now this guy lives there, which is, again, stop letting random troubled teens move into your house, Craig.
Yeah. Also, it's more upsetting because it's a smaller house now. Like, now that we know he's not a lawyer anymore, did he get disbarred?
I think you're jumping to wild conclusions. I think maybe he just does night lawyering.
No, I don't think he's a lawyer in this timeline that we're in now in episode 2. And also, you know how I clocked that she was a different actor is because in the first episode, she's a total downer. She's like very serious. And in this one, she's like, I'm an artist, blah, blah, blah. Hey, welcome over, blah, blah. She's like so bubbly. I'm like, whoa. This is not the same person.
Yeah. I get you. I get it. I do feel like if I was at a party and a teenage girl said she fucked my husband and then he left in the middle of the night to go get her, I would also be what I believe you're describing as a downer.
Okay, fair. But didn't we meet her before that also? Or is that the first time we meet her?
I think that was the first time.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I just don't want to minimize women's suffering.
Mm-hmm. Even though it's not the same woman. Also, is he lying to?
It's canonically the same woman. It's just a different actress.
Yeah. Okay.
Is he lying about what?
Being a lawyer to his different wife,
now
Gina.
That I would believe.
He's like, but my license plate, it says, oh no, it says surf or die. It doesn't even say.
No, it says swim or die, yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is, I don't want to take the whole podcast over with disparaging anecdotes about men I used to date, but I have been told I'm an imposing figure. I'm an intimidating lady, and I once had a boyfriend lose his job and pretend to go to work for 2 weeks
because he was scared.
He didn't want to tell me. Yeah, he was too scared to tell me. Yeah.
Oh,
but I got him back because I broke up with him, kicked him out, and I've never been really good at checking voicemail. But this was back in the world when we still had voicemail, and then I was checking my 16 voicemail messages like 2 months later, and there were voicemails of people asking to schedule interviews with him because he gave that number before I kicked him out for lying about having a job.
Oh,
to be clear, I didn't kick him out because he didn't have a job. Kicked him out because he pretended to go to work for 2 solid weeks.
Yeah, that is that feels a bit like sociopathic or something.
No, it was fear-based.
Oh, okay.
I just can't.
But that's
I need someone to call me on my shit. I need someone to tell me when there is no mime.
Yeah.
And now I have you.
I will tell you when there is no mime.
Thank you. Okay, so then the next thing I have jumps back to Hobie puts it together. He goes, holy shit. It was douchebag. I think his name is Scott, whose Sea-Doo is red. And he goes and he's snooping around and he finds those broken pieces of the Sea-Doo jet ski and with the half-hearted spray paint can next to it. And then the 2 dudes come and they're talking outside about how they murdered the lady. The one guy wants to go to the cops and the jerk guy, who I think is Scott, is like, no, we're murder bros. And then Hobie, for no reason I was able to discern, just makes a loud clanging sound.
Yeah.
Even though he was completely out of sight.
Yeah.
And they immediately catch him and chase him. And this punk ass kid takes a jet ski and steals it and fucks off and like gets to his dad on a boat and he's like, yo, this is who did the murder. His dad, again, huge win from Hoff, immediately, no questions asked, believes him.
Yeah.
And then they start speeding after the jet ski. They get this kid, they arrest him. And then Hoff and Hobie are walking along the beach and Hoff's wearing the most beautiful bright purple windbreaker that I've ever seen. That I was watching this on my TV because it's worthy of the big screen.
Yeah.
And I messaged you to be like, if you're watching this on your computer, can you take a screenshot of the windbreaker? Because it's exceptional.
Which I learned you can't take screenshots because your computer knows that it's Amazon and won't let you screen record.
Oh.
Yeah. So I just use my phone. But good to know for next time. I was so taken aback by this whole like beach walking scene. I think every episode I'm going to ask, is Mitch a good dad? Do we think Mitch is a good dad? And this episode, resounding yes. He said, this is so thoughtful and like so 2024. He said, I might get mad, I might get disappointed, but I'll always be there for you. Like, you don't.
I know.
I'm going to have feelings about things and they're just going to be what they are, but it doesn't mean I don't love you. I'm not here for you. Like, we can't work it out. And it was so good. And I just wrote, good acting, Hobie, with like a big explanation point. Yeah.
Yeah. Hobie crushed it in this episode. And I don't know. I guess I'll find out next season if they can improve on this Hobie, but I thought he did great. He was good. Awake. From the first one, he came into it.
Yeah. Can I share with you the best line of the episode?
Mm-hmm.
You're more trouble than most riptides. That was the one female character to the Australian guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, they had a bit part in this.
Yeah.
He was basically, I don't know if I caught all of that, but she was like, hey, we're pretty sure a girl got murdered by some guys. And he was like, oh, why are you always on my case?
Well, he's like, you want to fuck me so bad. Why are you always over here flirting with me? And she's like, I'm trying to do my job.
But literal murder.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really good reason to be having a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Did you see also there was a part where he's also on a jet ski showboating?
Yeah. That's how the episode opens.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, yeah. But the showboating is not impressive. As a seasoned Sea-Doo driver, he's just like going up on the wave and like coming back down. It's not impressive.
Yeah. He was just going like in circles. He does think he's hot shit. And that is unattractive to me.
Agree. I mean, I think we did it. I think we did it. And my enthusiasm for this TV show is fully unabated. Like, I am just having a fantastic time.
I can't wait to see what happens.
I agree. No time like the present to introduce ourselves.
It's in the show notes, but hi, I'm Nicole Mackey.
I'm CJ Hadley. I agree. Yeah. I agree. I don't want to infantilize our listeners. They know where to find the information.
Listen, there's the fucking internet's everywhere. Wait, one more question. What was this episode called?
It was called In Deep. End podcast.